Hello everyone, welcome to the 20th video of our Biopharmaceutics challenge, whereby today we will see the basics of the drug excretion process. So what does this term drug excretion means and what are the major routes by which the drugs can be excreted and what characteristics they need to follow in order to excrete out from those routes. So the drug excretion is a simple process whereby the drugs or the metabolites are actually irreversibly transferred from internal to external environment. That can be through renal routes as well as through non-renal routes. Now, renal or non-renal, mainly when we say about renal routes, we majorly mean that excretion is going to occur through urine. So that largely depends on the size and nature of the drug metabolite or drug also. For example, if you have a size range, a molecular weight of less than 300 Dalton, let's suppose we have a molecular weight of less than 300 Dalton, then we can say the excretion can generally occur through the urine. If it is more than 500 Dalton, then the excretion majorly occurs through bile. Right. So the major primary organs for drug excretion are the kidneys. Okay. Kidneys have two actually pair in which are connected through the urinary bladder, include through the ureters. They are supplied with the renal arteries which brings up the blood and the urine formation actually starts. So basically the drug that can be unchanged or intact is needed for the termination of its pharmacological action. So generally we can say the free, unchanged and hydrophilic drug can be readily excreted through the urine. So which is the major path of the drug excretion, but the only limitation is the molecular weight or size range which needs to be in the appropriate proportion. Only then the drug is excreted through the principal organ, that is kidneys. So what are other major sites? We have minor as well as major. So in the major routes we generally have renal and biliary. In the minor we have pulmonary excretion, we have salivary, mammary, we have skin and tears as well. So in all the different processes we can see in the all the different routes the mechanism is slightly different. In some it can be passive diffusion, in some it can be active secretion, glomerular filtration. So majorly in the kidneys, renal excretion, we know the urine formation steps are your glomerular filtration, which indicates your GFR as another parameter, which is glomerular filtration rate, that is around 125 ml per minute. That is one important information. Second, we have tubular secretion and tubular reabsorption, right? Biliary excretion we have already seen. Why? Because of the size range. If it is generally more than 500 Dalton, then the biliary excretion is possible. Less than 300 Dalton, the renal excretion is possible, right? So the majorly mechanisms followed by the renal are glomerular filtration, tubular reabsorption and tubular secretion. For the drug that can be free, unchanged or hydrophilic and the size range, these criteria are must as well as the mechanism. Okay, then in the bile generally actively secreted, hydrophilic and more than 500 Dalton is excreted out. For these other routes, non-renal routes, generally the drug excretion is through passive diffusion, right? The major mechanism is going to be the passive diffusion process. For the lungs, for example, the volatile or the gaseous nature of drugs is generally excreted out. For the saliva, we have free, unionized and lipophilic drugs that can be excreted out. From the milk, we have free, unionized, lipophilic drugs that can be excreted out from majorly all these similar routes. But from the intestine, generally the ionized fraction is water soluble, ionized fraction is excreted out. So by far it is majorly concerned that the major organ is going to be the kidneys and the main function is performed by the urine that is formed in the kidneys by the nephron. With these three steps we have glomerular filtration, tubular secretion and tubular reabsorption process, in which we have Majorly takeaway points for today: drug excretion is going to be the drugs and the metabolites which are excreted in bile. The weights are molecular size must be greater than 500 Dalton. For the drug which have less than around 300 Dalton, they are generally excreted in the kidneys. Okay, so the whatever is written here, I may write it again: less than 300, greater than 500, between 300 to 500. Less than 300 Dalton is through urine, kidneys. Greater than 5 is through bile, and urine and bile. Okay, I hope the basics is clear. In the upcoming video, we'll see what is the concept of the urine formation and how this drug excretion is facilitated. What are the methods by which we can estimate these rate constant for the elimination? And we have just seen what nature of drugs and how the molecular weight plays an important role in the drug excretion process. What are the major renal and non-renal routes? Thank you so much. We will meet in the next video.